Sugadan, founder of Maya. Maya is an AI-powered platform for cosmetic virtual prototyping. Today we are going to have a webinar on clean beauty trends. It's going to be presented by Dr. Suman Majumdar. Dr. Suman Majumdar is a senior research and management professional with over 23 years of experience in organic synthesis and product development for various industries. He has worked in pharmaceutical, polymer, FMCG, packaging, and chemicals as well. He's worked for major companies like Dow Chemicals, L'Oreal, Unilever, Sigma Aldrich, Bajaj Consumer Care, to name a few. He has over 23 US patents and 2 WIPO patents. He was also a professor of chemistry at Brainware University. He's also a fellow of Royal Society of Chemistry and a member of the management group of RSC. Welcome, sir. I leave the floor for you to take over the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Simi. Great to be invited for this webinar. We have several times discussed this topic, which is nothing but natural beauty. And I'm very happy to see that your organization is also promoting this big way. So let me share the presentation. So today's topic is more around natural and clean beauty, formulation trends, and the influence of green and sustainable chemistry. So it's a very, very relevant topic for the last 1 decade, where people have been discussing and debating around this topic, and continuously coming out with solutions which connote to clean beauty. Now today we will discuss a couple of topics around this, and we will also see where it is heading to and how complex natural and clean beauty can be, which will require a lot of tools and handles which may make our life much easier. So we'll touch upon clean formula, clean packaging, sustainability, safety, and transparent labeling, use cases for clean beauty, and what is in store for us in future. So something will seem clean from outside, but when you do a deep dive, it may not be that clean. So in New York City, you will see these buildings which were actually being called.
Sorry to interrupt. If you are moving the slide, we are not able to see that.
Oh,
it's still in the first slide.
Okay, now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that means the slideshow will not work. Let me do like this only.
Okay.
Yeah, so our topic today will be clean formula, clean packaging, sustainability, safety, and transparent labeling. We'll have some use cases for clean beauty, and we'll also see what is in store for us in future for clean beauty. So as I was telling, clean beauty is not always about how clean it looks from outside. So in New York City, there are these buildings which were actually being covered with soot. But when you look at this, now it has become very clean and white from outside. But what made the whole thing non-sustainable is the amount of concrete which these big cities are actually bringing in. So if you look at the right-hand side, it is all built out of cement, the Portland cement, which contributes significantly to the fossil fuel burning, and it actually gives almost 1.5 gigatons of carbon dioxide, which means it's contributed already to the damage of the ecosystem big way. So what looks from outside may not be true from inside. If you look at another example where these are transformational uh, innovations in building material science. So if you look at this building, the whole roof is made out of solar panels. Now, it also has a lifetime, and when these solar panels get used up, then the recycling is almost impossible. So you have to do complete incineration of this. So although it is contributing to some part of the green beauty, but then again at the end of the day, it is again not 100% clean. So similarly, this building is made up of completely made up of glass, and glass is considered to be a environmental friendly material because it is recyclable. But when you look into the technology which has been put there to make it free from dust and make it water repellent, it is being some formula is being used, which is epoxy-based resin, bisphenol A polymer, which is not at all a very green thing. So what looks from outside may not be always green, and so that applies to our formulations and packaging as well. So clean beauty has gone beyond safety considerations, and it embodies mainly the four principles the consumers demand, which is around sustainability, safety, transparency, and performance. Now, what is happening is that these are the four big pillars around clean beauty, and you cannot basically separate uh, each pillar and treat it differently because it's a 360-degree product, which is the formula plus packaging, and it has to be clean and 100% green, which is actually utopia. Means it's not possible 100%, and so it's very important for us, the formulators, to understand what connotes to the uh, to 100% and what connotes not to 100%, and what is possible and what is not. Clean beauty has gone beyond safety considerations, and it again is around the four principles of sustainability, safety, transparency, and performance. When it comes to the formula, there are several components which comprises the formula. So there is one component which is water, one component which are also called physically processed agro ingredients, the PPAI, which is defined as per EcoCert norms. Then there is another element which is chemically processed agro ingredients, which is CPAI, uh, and then it has minerals, mineral origin ingredients, etc. So potable water, which is either spring water, water by osmosis, distilled water, has some specifications, which is the CFU less than 100 per ml, but only physical treatment is allowed for that. No chemical treatment is allowed if it has to be environmentally friendly. Physically processed agro ingredients can be organic or not. It can be essential oils, vegetable oils, butter, wax, or aqueous extracts, some extracts of flour in water, oily extracts, milk, etc. This is absolutely clearly mentioned in the EcoCert green list, and so one has to follow that very religiously. CPAI can be organic or not, but it is usually having the long chain alcohols, glycerin, uh, the CCTG. Certified organic glycerin is not completely organic, so uh, even the synthetic glycerol may not be considered organic because it is not coming absolutely from the natural source. So it is usually 96.7% organic, and there are a list of authorized chemical processes which are allowed, and there are many examples which are forbidden processes, and if it goes through that process, then it is not at all considered organic. In minerals, it should be obtained without intentional chemical modification. So the polymorphism should not change significantly from whatever was present in the natural form. Ingredients of mineral origin can be used only if they are listed. Minerals and ingredients of mineral origin can be treated only with physical processes and not chemical again. Then there is another category which falls in the others, and this is a specialized list of synthetic chemicals which are allowed to be used under EcoCert. Ingredients obtained with petrochemical solvents like uh, uh, vitamin E or tocopherol, lanolin, or phytosterol, etc. Now these are the ingredients in the heart of the formulation. It's very important that it is very friendly to human health. It should be eco-friendly so that when it is in the post-usage state, it should not pollute the ecosystem. It should have the transparency as per EcoCert, and it should be processed through a sustainable processing or green practices. Now, if I look at the ingredients and little bit details, usually emulsion formulation or a water-based formulation or oil-based formulation will have these components, which are oils. Oils are nothing but hydrocarbons, vegetable oils, and fats, waxes, the fatty acid esters, hard alcohols, fatty acids, and silicones. In surfactants, they are anionic, cationic, tertiary amines, amphoteric materials, and then non-ionic surfactants as well. Polymers, these are thickening agents or texturing agents. These also have some stabilizing agents which are required in having a very stable and robust emulsion. Glycols has several other aspects. They're used as solubilizers. Sometimes they're used as solvents for aroma chemicals. They disperse sometimes the polymers. In others, which are active molecules, coloring agents to give the aesthetics to the formula, you need to have some preservatives in order to preserve the formula for a longer shelf life, antioxidants, chelating agents, etc. Now, all these uh, may be naturally derived or may not be naturally derived. So, basis what you put in your formula, there will be a calculation as per which the EcoCert will tell you that it is so much part of the formula is organic and the rest is not. Uh, Apart from this, people in the formulation, skincare formulations use UV filters. Um, the principles of Cosmos does not allow nanomaterials because they are considered to be harmful for the human skin. Exemption of UV filters like titanium dioxide, zinc oxide, if the following conditions are met. So you can easily see that the particle size distribution, if it is less than 100 nanometer, it must be less than 50% of the part of the UV filter which is used in the formulation. In solvents, the non-organic CPAI, when there is no other option, petrochemical solvents may be used, but it cannot be used 100%. There must not be any use of aromatic, halogenated, nitrogen or sulfur-based solvents, which must be recycled and eliminated at the end of the process. So, uh, petrochemical solvents and catalysts are basically forbidden for clean formula. If I look at the clean formula and its impact on human health, I think we are moving towards a minimalist regime where minimal ingredients has to be used. Complete toxicology data should be available so that the traceability is absolutely clear and the consumer knows that there is no impact on the human health. There has to be no allergens and supporting data should be there for the formula which says that no allergic conditions will occur unless it is a very exceptional case. and no acute or chronic toxic impact should be there. So usually people, whatever is claimed in the back of the formula will be paraben free, silicon free, SLS free in the surfactant area, alcohol free, no mineral oil is used, and fragrance free, which is synthetic fragrance, of course. So is the same thing applicable for clean packaging as well. Now, when I say clean packaging, low density polyethylene or high density polyethylene, these are the main components of the packaging, plastic packaging as of today. But slowly things are changing, and the recycling number is an index which is becoming very, very important. And you will see a lot of packaging is based out of some natural material like lactic acid polymers, so polylactic acid, PLA based polymers. There are a lot of challenges which come with these polymers with respect to the barrier properties, or for that matter other rigid and other properties, flexibility properties. But still people are making a good effort in having a shift towards these polymers, and then the claim on the pack that their packaging is also more green than others. And that gives you some brownie points with respect to consumers, because consumers are also becoming more and more aware about the impact of the packaging of the formulation towards environment. So if I say clean packaging, more eco-friendly materials which are biodegradable in 100 days instead of 1,000 years for plastic materials is being considered more eco-friendly, and so part of clean packaging. Starch-based biomaterials like corn starch-based packaging, other plant-based biomaterials like polylactic acid, like I mentioned, biodegradable packaging from peanuts, uh, corrugated bubble wraps from paper material, recycled paper material, mushroom-based packaging, recycled cardboard and paper. All these are part of clean packaging. Post-consumer recycled plastics, 100% post-consumer recycled plastics are monolayer and cannot be multi-layer. So monolayer plastic development is happening in a more aggressive way with most of the packaging development people, and that is coming slowly into the packaging material for FMCG products. Organic fabrics or non-woven materials are also being used in packaging, and waste material converted from banana or pineapple leaves are also being used as sustainable materials for packaging. If we look at the EcoCert norms, actually some of the materials which are actually allowed for packaging are glass, aluminium, paper, cardboard, of course, single layer polyethylene or PET rubber, which is sometimes natural rubber, find good place in sustainable packaging, whereas PVC and chlorinated plastics, which will leach out a lot of hydrochloric acid in the environment, polystyrenes, again thermosetting polymers, something which is made out of genetically modified organisms, not allowed. Part of animal or substances produced by animals are not allowed. So basically the principle is to minimize the amount of material used, minimize the amount of material that can be reused or recycled, and use materials with recycled content where it can be used several times through recycling, and the ideal number should be 7. For paper-based packaging, Forest Steward Council has come out with a certification. So many companies actually nowadays go with pack suppliers who are promoting FSC certified materials. So although FSC certified materials often contain recycled paper, it does not have to be contain it to be certified. What is happening is the company takes the responsibility to plant double the number of trees which are being cut to use this paper for packaging purpose. So, which is in a way a good way of maintaining the environmental balance. So, how do I define clean beauty with respect to sustainability? Clean beauty follows the 12 green chemistry principles as applicable to FMCG products. The most important of that is the sustainability. The three pillars of sustainability is social, environmental, and economic, and should also be considered when applying these principles of green chemistry to personal care products, which means uh, it has to be a mix of all these three very important factors. So, environmental factor incorporates the concept of quality, accessibility, cultural identity, and institutional stability. Whereas the social part also involves the preservation of natural capital, ecosystem integrity, carrying capacity, and biodiversity. Whereas economic implies the financial feasibility, while development moves towards environmental and social sustainability. If all these factors are considered as a whole or in a holistic way, then it comes out to be a sustainable solution. So when it comes to application of green chemistry in a cosmetic or personal care product, which is launched by a cosmetic company, the corporate carbon footprint can also be defined as a total set of greenhouse gas, usually it is called GHG emissions caused by the organization, which means it takes you back to the stage where the raw material and the packaging material are being indented by the company, which enters the production and the consumption of fuels, the manufacturing goods, materials, wood, as well as construction of roads and buildings for the transportation of the material and the provision of services. So, for simplicity of reporting and interpretation, the emission of all the GHGs is typically expressed in terms of effective equivalent amount of carbon dioxide. And this goes back into the life cycle analysis, or LCA, which is aimed at evaluation of the significance of the potential environmental impact based on the life cycle impact flow for that particular product. So it's a complex thing. It requires a lot of calculation, understanding, and incorporation of all the flow and processes. But at the end of the day, you can claim a lot of advantages that you are contributing to the sustainability goal, the 17 principles of the sustainability goals, which is important for having a more greener environment or earth. Now, when it comes to transparency or whatever you are actually claiming on the level, there are companies who will be very, very religious and claim exactly what is there in your ingredient, and there are companies who will just bypass that and uh, try to fool the consumers by putting something which is different. Now, nothing is wrong or nothing is right, but if you have to do it the proper way, following all the EcoCert norms and following the Cosmos regulation, then you have to be religious and bold enough to accept that to the consumer or the environment, but still, uh, according to the norms, it is only, for example, in this formula, it is 29.31% of the total ingredients are from organic farming. Now, many companies may not be so religious in uh, calculating this, following the norms, and claiming this on the back of the pack. But there are many companies who will do this because they feel they have the corporate responsibility um to promote these things, and they have a hard target that if today we are at 29.3, then our supply chain, our R&D, and everybody will try to thrive and get more next year. So can we become around 40% of the total ingredients from organic farming next year? Something like that. So uh, better if all the companies follow these principles and come out with a very transparent level. It is easy for the consumers also to believe how sincere you are towards your contribution to the ecosystem. Now, again, there will be still some myths about something around safety. When it comes to safety, if you look at the synthetic surfactants, which are SLS and SLES, these are being used for so many years. The structure of the material is completely clear and transparent. The oral acute toxicity and everything is reported and several times tested in rats as well as in the uh, toxicity, different toxicity models. And it also is very clear how much they contribute to the aqueous toxicity, aquatic toxicity, and things like that. So, extensive dose-dependent tox data in human use, as well as its impact to the environment, has been tested. When it comes to so-called natural surfactants, which is like many companies are using the soap nut and all other surfactants, the the limitation here is there is not much toxicity data, although they are natural materials, absolutely isolated from natural source. There is not much toxicity data in personal wash formulation for these substances. So, on one hand, you have materials which are synthetic and which are known to be toxic, but it is being used at a particular percentage where the toxicity is 0 or less. On the other hand, you are using some materials which are natural, but you don't have enough toxicity data to suggest that the percentage, this much percentage, is absolutely harmless for human use. Now, how consumers are looking at clean beauty. So this is something which comes out of a Nielsen report about the consumers, how they perceive clean beauty, free from parabens, because it is being stressed so many times, has plus 3.6% in the survey, whereas free from paraben and sulfates are slightly higher than free from paraben, which is plus 5%. Phthalates and sulfates and free from paraben, again, it is plus 13%. And according to the Nielsen's clean beauty norms, all these factors taken together is plus 8.1%, which means if you sell with these things on the label, then your chances of sale growth is plus 8%. So what usually is there on the labels is non-toxic, paraben-free, no animal testing, cruelty-free, vegan, etc. And what is not there, should not be there, is no alcohol, no harsh chemicals, no artificial colors, or no artificial fragrances. And these actually make a big connotation with resonance with the consumers. When you see the FMCG domain, even food and beverage, gluten-free, for example, connotes a big way with the consumers. Organic claim, again, is a very big claim, which adds plus 92% for the innovation cells. Whereas these claims like hypoallergenic claim or antioxidants or natural claims, these are slightly low in percentage, but they are becoming consumers are becoming more and more aware about this. This is related to health and safety. So probably in coming years, this will also gain traction, and so slowly we'll see the impact of these claims also on the consumers. Usually, when you define, for example, a hand and body lotion for purchase, the US consumer will focus more on natural ingredients, which is contributing to 40% of the intent of purchase. Respect the environment, which is the impact on environment, is 17%, and use of recyclable packaging material is 15%. Now, again, sustainable recycled paper-based packaging, which was launched in US, there are limitations, and so it is not coming in a very high throughput way into the packaging world for FMCG products. Only because still technology is not robust enough. It has limited barrier and strength properties, and it is also having high cost. And the paper packaging does not mean 100% paper. It is also having some laminates inside, which is from plastic. Yeah, the other thing is, if you don't use preservative, it has a low shelf life. So it has also low throughput and high processing cost, loss of material because it has low shelf life, and so limited applications you will find where they are using no preservative or 100% no preservative claims. Saying all this, the huge challenge which is there in front of the chemist to introduce green chemistry, there are some companies which have come out with the help of synthetic biology. Now, synthetic biology will actually transform the whole chemistry world into something quite different in the coming years. And here, I'll give you some examples. There's one company called Ginkgo Bioworks, and the another company is Jaimergen. These companies, they invested heavily into synthetic biology, and they have come out with state-of-art bioorganisms to design and manufacture specific materials which will be used in FMCG personal care products. One example is squalene. Squalene, actually up to 1 ton of squalene is available from the liver of 3,000 sharks. Now, this definitely is non-sustainable. But if it is being produced from some microorganisms using some plant substrate, then definitely it will be. And so what is happening is synthetic biology is being executed to use engineered yeast, sugar from west of the sugar cane, which is bagasse. Then you use some fermentation method using the microorganisms, and then produce the desired compounds like vitamin E, vanillin, and squalene, etc. for personal care products. It will use heavily chemistry, biology, and its interface and high-end technology. But at the end of the day, what is happening is that you are not dependent on environment big way. You are actually preserving the environment, but at the same time, you have enough supply of the raw materials which are otherwise difficult to get sustainably in your lab space, which can be used in the formulation. So this actually will transform or bring an orbit shift change in the way we were looking at raw materials, and more synthetic biology will come in place. A lot of different type of raw materials which will be from natural source will also come. And how will you handle this whole range of chemicals which this biological factory will produce? So you need screening system, toxicology, and other things to be done in a more high throughput manner. At the same time, when the whole of the data is there, how will you handle this huge amount of data, which is maybe millions and millions of data which is there, and so you will require some tools which will do it in a very automated manner and come to you with some recommendations make your life easy. So as we move forward and as we come out with more and more naturally derived materials and raw materials for either packaging or formula, we will require these tools. And so I leave all of you there for giving it a thought, and I'm now open to questions.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a wonderful presentation. I hope the audience would have got a 360-degree view of how to look at clean beauty, starting from their ingredients to the packaging and how it end up in the environment. So it was wonderful presentation. So I take this opportunity to also show just for 2 minutes the platform Maya, where you can understand the ingredients that can be used or that can be identified whether as an appropriate ingredient for your clean beauty formulations. So let me share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so please, I apologize for the background noise. Apparently, there's some construction work happening around. So we provide several resources in terms of research, virtual lab, suppliers, contact, and many things. We are an AI platform, so we do help you to customize your formula. We generate a formula under 2 minutes. But today's topic is in terms of clean beauty, so I'll focus there. So I'll just show you the ingredient research. So one of the EcoCert certified ingredient or acceptable ingredient is sodium benzoate. So you can come to a platform, sign up, and you can search this ingredient, and we will provide you a complete ingredient summary, and you can look at the information in terms of safety aspects which sir was saying today, and you can take a very accurate call whether this is the right ingredient for your formula. So sodium benzoate, although it has a bit of acute reactions, is still being accepted by the Cosmos. And let me show another chemical. So Hama Melis Virginia water. So this is widely used. So if you see, this is one of the certain ingredient that is accepted for clean beauty. So you get a variety of information, including your inky name that should go to the label. So transparency is important. You can understand what's the use function. You can understand what's the optimum range that is being currently used in the market. You can get the safety information. So typically clean beauty means there you need complete set of information. So mostly it should be not classified for any human health concerns. So you need to look at this information which is required. Now, it's not required for each and every formulator to send their ingredient for testing, because most of the formulation that we do currently is for which the data is already available. So we do not need to go ahead and test each ingredient for safety. All you need to do is look for data and understand the tox profile, so that you will be able to get it on Maya platform. So you can see this is the scoring that we give for safety of each ingredient. So most of the clean beauty ingredients should come on a scale of between 8 to 10. So we have a scale between 0 to 10. So if you are looking for a safe ingredient, let's say, let me put a skin conditioner. I'm looking at a skin conditioning ingredient, and I want to have a natural based ingredient, and then I want to make sure it is very safe ingredient. My brand product is a clean beauty product, so I can pull the scale according to that, and you will get those ingredients which is of natural in nature, which has that skin conditioning property, which is rated anywhere between 9 to 10. So it helps you to, and you will get the complete data set of what is in terms of safety and market information. So this is something that will help you to understand your ingredient clearly and give you that clarity in terms of what should go to the label and how confident you are in terms of your product safety and impacts on environment. So that's it from my end. I would request you to provide a feedback. So we'll be sharing a feedback form on the chat. After a couple of minutes, we would like to have question and answer session. Yeah. So Soumya, could you please share the
feedback has been shared. There is already one question raised by Mr. Sandeep. How much does the cost increase after using all the ingredients? Sir, it's over to you.
Cost increase for what?
How much does the cost increase after using all the ingredients?
Usually this, see, coming from vegetable source or for that matter other sustainable source, it's usually more expensive. So if, for example, if your SLS is um, uh, $3, this will be per kg, then this will be definitely 3 times or 5 times more expensive. So you can easily expect some very specialized surfactants, which are like isocyanates or sarcosinates, or for that matter something which is being derived from coconut oil, or for that matter castor oil, to be more expensive, at least 5 times more expensive than SLS. And but you have to take a call whether you are going with naturally derived and claim your formula to be more with the green index, or whether you want to be in the SLS space. So you cannot claim no SLS. You have to go with the standard product, which will be again a Me Too product for the consumers, and they will not be able to differentiate your product from the others.
There's one more question, sir, from Ms. Pooja, regarding microbiome health and clean beauty correlation. Do you also assist in helping out with formulation being safe for microbiome?
We don't do that, but there are several companies. I can connect you people to those companies who have already started this activity. They map the microbiome, the impact on the human microbiome, skin microbiome, with any formula. This is also available in Europe. There are at least 3-4 companies which I know. They do it as a service, but there are now companies in Chennai and also in Mumbai who are into this whole aspect of taking your formula, checking with at least 12 different and come out with a score which says that you're in India also now, and I can connect you people to those people.
Those who want to connect with Dr. Majumdar, you can write to us. We will put you in contact with him.
There's one more question. Does it make it expensive to get that certification?
It is one time that you will be doing this testing. Once you get a certificate, you can use it because as long as you are not changing your formula, you may still claim that this is microbiome friendly. But the first investment is it will cost you something um, around 30,000-40,000 for one formula to test out all the 12 microbiomes, good microbes for the skin.
There's one more question, sir. Can ingredients used in food industry be used in cosmetic? Give us some examples.
Yeah, absolutely. So in food industry, this casein and other things are also being used. So milk is rich in casein, and then these proteins and other proteins also which are being used in food industry are more and more now, like the alginates and other things are being used in skin beauty big way, because first of all they are free from the safety norms that if you ingest them there is some adverse conditions for the human health. Secondly, they are being more and more tested for for efficacious use in skin beauty. So yeah, absolutely, there are many examples like this.
I request the participants to share your feedback on the form. It's important for us to know what more you want to understand in terms of formulation topic. So we would like to hear from you. So please fill the feedback form for us. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's all we have on the questions. Yeah, we have shared our email ID and the LinkedIn profile as well as the feedback form. Okay, there are two more questions. Is there any natural black hair dye? Henna is orangish brown.
This is a holy grail which everybody is uh, trying to crack, and this is not from today but for many years. Companies including L'Oreal, who are the leaders in hair color, has been trying to crack, but so far there is no single solution which will bring a perfectly black color with very good coverage for hair. So as an expert in this area, I can assure that there is no solution as of date which is a 100% natural complete black solution for hair dye for gray hair.
Another question is there any licensing that is good for small business owners who can make clean beauty products?
Licensing, okay. So I will tell you, and many people have gone through these seminars and they know DRDO, which is our defense research organization. They actually come out with a lot of technologies, and many people don't know that they outsource this, out-license these technologies to small startup companies, companies, and these technologies are usually very robust. So you have to take the technology and adapt it to your formulation and use it for the purpose of personal care and beauty. That's up to you. But there are many good technologies which are available with them at low cost, where you can afford it. Similarly, many CSI laboratories, they have also started working in the personal care space. So active molecules from natural materials many groups in India, perfectly in CSI laboratories. They are working now all these things. So you can also leverage those, but you have to search their websites and see what type of technologies they have uh, in disposal for you.
Sir, what is the type of licensing for clean beauty products? I think was the question. Um,
Okay, so
from
licensing is there is no otherwise FDA is the only license which you have to have, but certifications are EcoCert and Cosmos certification, for which you need to apply to those bodies, and and they will actually audit your plant, your process, your packaging and everything, and then they will give you a score, and then they will certify you for Cosmos or EcoCert products. There are other bodies also which are less stringent, but I think Cosmos is quite stringent, and they do audit. They have their representatives in India who will go and audit your facility, your raw materials, everything, and give you the certification. But you need to have, the basic thing is you need to have a FDA license, local FDA.
So, if I can add to what Sir said, in the context of Indian cosmetic industry, there is no specific certification as such for clean beauty. So, you have to look out for European standards, which Sir was saying, EcoCert and Cosmos. So the first step to start with, as Sir was showing today in the presentation, become more transparent, open about your product, understand what ingredients you are using in your product so that you can claim correctly on the labels. So that would be the first start, and then eventually you can move for certifications. And certifications, because it's in the Europe, it might be a bit expensive for small companies, so you have to work your way out. The focus of being transparent is that will give you the you can earn the consumer trust eventually, and then you can move up for the certifications. Yeah, so I think that's okay. There is we'll take one last question, sir. So there is one more question. Ayurveda has a different license and certification in India. Yes, sir, you want to take it?
Which please repeat.
Ayurveda has a different license and
Yes.
certification in India.
Yeah, that's right. So all comes under Ayush, and this was earlier under the same FDA, but now it is a department of Ayush which is giving this license. Ayurveda has two different type of certifications. One is if you want to make a formulation which is not 100% Ayurvedic, then this is called Ayurvedic proprietary medicine, which means Ayurvedic proprietary formulation, which is having some elements of Ayurveda or Ayurvedic ingredients, but the formulation is otherwise conventional and classical. Then there is another one which is 100% pure Ayurvedic formulation, which is as per the Ayurvedic textbooks, which are like Charak Samhita or Bhav Prakash Nigandu, and they will be considered as Ayurvedic license. They will be given Ayurvedic license, which means the formulation has to be made exactly with the same ingredients which is mentioned in the classical text, Ayurvedic text, as well as following the same process which has been mentioned in the Ayurvedic text, which is relatively more challenging, but still there are companies which has 100% Ayurvedic formulation as well.
Sir, there are two more questions. Sorry, people, we will not take any more questions after this. From coconut oil, which cosmetic product could be developed?
See, from coconut oil is having fatty acids, which can be converted into the glucosides. So cocoa glucoside, for example, may be derived from the coconut oil. Similarly, there may be some esters which are like the CCTG and others, which can be used in the formulation. Will be forming the oil part of the emulsion with a significant high quantity. For example, sometimes 5 to 8% of the formulation or the emulsion. This is good for skin and also good for the texture of the formulation, which becomes very smooth and nice emulsion.
This is the last question, sir. So, do essential oils also come in Ayurveda?
Good question. And essential oils actually is part of the Ayurveda in the form of anupan. So when you read the text, you will not see exactly like lavender oil or something like that written in the text, but it will be coming under some other very classical name in the form of anupan. So the Ayurvedic experts, the Ayurvedic doctors, they will tell you exactly under which acronym the essential oils fall in the Ayurvedic text, and they can guide you to select the right essential oil. Definitely not lavender because it is from Europe, but some other oils which comes from the Indian materials is listed under Ayurveda.
I think we'll end here. Thank you, Dr. Suman Majumdar. It was a wonderful presentation, and the audience were also very interactive. Thank you for those wonderful questions. I hope we all got benefited with this webinar, and we'll try to look at your request on the feedback form, and we'll try to organize another webinar soon. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Simi. Thank you. Thanks, the audience.
Request on the feedback form, and we'll try to organize another webinar soon. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Simi. Thank you. Thanks, the audience.